Thanks for joining us here on the Bearcats Sports Network. It's time for our weekly visit with head coach Mike Babcock of the Bearcats football program. And coach, last week the Bearcats faced a tough test at Truman State University, the number 25 ranked team in the nation. And the Bulldogs certainly proved worthy of that ranking with a 45-17 victory. Talk about the positive things you saw from the Bearcats in that game.
Obviously when you play a solid team, you got to play a solid game, and unfortunately, I think some of our aspects, we weren't able to pick up. I think, if there's anything to look at it, I thought that Matt Cole had a nice day, ended up catching 2 long touchdowns, to at least get us on the board and get us going a little bit. Even though he didn't have a super great day, even Turner Poland, ended up throwing 70% and 300 yards. That's something. And I think even defensively, there were a lot of times we were able to kind of stop them on even first and maybe second down. We just couldn't finish drives, and unfortunately we just couldn't find a way to get off the field. And so obviously it was a bunch of little things. There were some positives, here and there, but obviously it was a hard day on the road, and we got to learn from it and move on.
You talked about one of the consistent bright spots for the Bearcats this year in Matt Cole. Set a school record now with 10 touchdown catches on the season. Had 2 more long TD receptions, 40 and 60 yards at Truman State. Coach, I don't know if you know this, 8 of his 10 touchdown grabs are at least of 40 yards, a true deep threat for the Bearcats.
Yeah, it's almost like you start him 20 yards, deeper, every play with it. So, but, I've said this from the beginning, Matt's a difference maker, in what he does. I think he's unbelievable at special teams. I think that's what he's great at. I also think he's a very good wide receiver. There's a reason why he's broken the touchdown receptions. He's just an all-around great player, but more importantly, I think he's a great leader. I think he's a great person, and I think that carries on to what he does on the field, because I always believe that like attracts like. And I think he's able to do those kind of things and, hopefully give us a spark.
It was also good to see Turner Poland bounce back after a rough effort against Southwest Baptist. A lot of that had to do with the rain at Lehman Field 2 weeks ago. But he had some weather to deal with as well. Truman State, a swirling wind throughout the ballgame.
Yeah, I think there were times that he looked really good. I think he was poised. He was in the pocket. He was able to, hit receivers, on the money. Unfortunately, I think there were some other times where, it was a little bit hard. But then, half the time when he's out there scrambling around, and he's out of the pocket, he's able to find guys, and pick up some key first downs. We're in 3rd and long twice, and he's able to hit a receiver, and gain an extra 10, 15, 20 yards, just on what he does. So, like I said, a lot of good stuff, still things to work on, still things to continue to drive home, but I thought he did a nice job.
Defensively, a player that has been on the rise throughout the year, starting in his first season. Devon Miles at safety for the Bearcats led McKendree for the 2nd straight game with 11 tackles. He's a guy who has a nose for the football.
Yeah, when you talk about like attracts like, this is a young player that is really kind of coming into his own as far as leadership qualities, as far as communication. I've got, not a lot of old guys, in the back half. A lot of freshmen and sophomores that are playing, and D. Miles with a, being a sophomore and having a bunch of years, left. My hope is he can continue to, get better every single year. But so far I think he's doing a nice job.
Coach, the Bearcats turn the page. It's the final home game of the 2019 regular season on Saturday as the Bearcats host Quincy University at 1 p.m. It'll be senior day at Lehman Field. We'll honor 12 senior players before the game and talk about what those seniors have meant to the program.
Well, you talk about guys that are always trying to. This year it's all been about the process, going 1-0, going hard work, discipline, and I think a lot of these seniors kind of embody that. When you look at when they came in as freshmen, there's a lot of guys that came in that freshman class that for whatever reason, aren't here right now. And I think these guys are the ones that, endured, through all of it. And I think that happens wherever you go in college football is like, okay, who are the ones that are going to buckle down, be blue collar, and just kind of keep going and going and going and just find a way to keep it going. And I think these 12 guys are, kind of the embodiment of that. And, I think, we're better because of them.
The 2 NCAA Division II football playing schools meeting on Saturday. So state bragging rights on the line at Lehman Field. Quincy comes in, a team that Don't look at their record. A team that always comes at you from start to finish, well coached, very talented at the skill positions, and a team that'll give you 60 minutes of football.
No, I mean, when you look at this season, and you look at both teams and you try and size them up, you're like, okay, well, they've got the same record. Okay, they've, from a statistical standpoint, they're almost neck and neck with us. I mean, there's really not a lot of difference offensively and defensively. You look at their wins and their losses versus the same wins. I mean, almost to a T. Like, you look at it, I mean, it's almost even. And I know both teams, and especially Quincy, this is a team that is going to be excited. I think you throw records out the table when you play in a rivalry game like this. I think they'll be hyped up for it. I hope our guys are ready to go and ready to match it and exceed it. I like the fact that we're playing at home, last home game, senior day, honoring not only our seniors, but our president that's been there for 26 years. So there's a lot riding on the table, and anything else, it's going to be a fun game to watch.
You alluded to the celebration honoring Dr. James Dennis. That'll come throughout the ball game. We'll have several times to honor him throughout the game. You're only just the second head football coach to play for him in his 26 years here. Talk about what he has meant not only to the university but to the football program.
Well, I mean, when you look at the university, when he started, back in the heyday, half the size, if that, being able to grow, not just football, but other sports, other departments, just being able to kind of, hopefully, again, what we're trying to do is put McKendree on the map. And I think he's been able to do that, in a lot of different ways. Huge sports fan, huge football fan. He's the only president I think probably in America that will actually watch football film and watch tape on huddle of upcoming opponents or the game. Or, he's very into kind of what's going on, who's doing well, and you know what, I'll take it, and I told him he can always have a play, he could always call a play, he's welcome to come on, he's the boss, I work for him, so he's always welcome to come down and make a play call. But great man, great human being, love Dr. Dennis, he's one of the main reasons why I'm here.
And of course, he's been a long time, before you came here, a long time USC employee. You playing at UCLA, I'm sure you were able to put your differences aside for the sake of football.
Well, we always jab each other a little bit, every now and then. But, I'll be honest, and it's so fun because we'll jab a little bit. But at the end of the day, I don't think either of us care what happens at those places. I think what we care about is here. I think both of us want McKendree to be successful. We want to be successful in everything that we do. We're going to, continue to chase perfection. That's why I love Dr. Dennis. He's very similar, type of personality. And again, I think he makes this place tick. Definitely sorry for him to go because he's done a tremendous job for McKendree and sports, athletics, school, everything. Great guy.
Should be an exciting and emotional day at Lehman Field. Coach, good luck on Saturday against Quincy.
Appreciate it.
Don't forget, if you can't make it to Lehman Field, you can catch the game online on the Bearcats Sports Network. Go to the McKendree football schedule and click on the GLVCSN link.